Okay, so it's already 3:30 and I think we can already start with this webinar. Again, good afternoon, my fellow teachers, administrators who are watching us right now. Just like the session earlier, I think we also have some parents or maybe students who are watching us. Checking the numbers of attendees today, we already have around 1,200 attendees. Earlier, we almost, I think, almost 7,000 yung attendees natin kanina. So indeed, I am truly overwhelmed with the number of attendees that we have in our webinar today. And this is primarily because we perfectly understand that learning must not stop and learning should not stop despite the threat of the pandemic. As teachers, we're still here, of course, and attending this webinar primarily because we want to learn new insights and hopefully understand new concepts that we can apply when classes officially resume. This is the very reason why teachers are actually called modern heroes because we endure everything for our students. Teachers, welcome to Bival's webinar entitled the future of instructional designs. So I am Mr. Joram Kim Corcuera, a graduate of the Philippine Normal University and the Ateneo de Manila University. And of course, right now I teach in the UST Junior High School. I teach there English and journalism courses. So allow me now to share with you the PowerPoint presentation that I prepared for our webinar today for a while. Okay. There we go. So I think you can already see it. Am I right? All right. So again, the title of our webinar today is The Future of Instructional Design. So I'm pretty sure some of you would be having questions, which I would be entertaining at the end of our presentation. So later on, I will have those specific questions addressed. So for today, our topic description is this topic will analyze the potential of flexible learning to enhance learners' experiences by effective instructional design and also by the use of various internet-based e-learning technologies and communication tools. So for today, we're going to talk about what instructional design is. So we're going to define it. And of course, how instructional design can help us become effective and efficient teachers in the eyes of our students. Specifically, we're going to focus on how we will be able to serve our clients. And who are our clients? Of course, these are our customers, our students, okay, the 21st century learners who have a totally different set of preferences from ours. So before I proceed to the succeeding slides, let me just have a very short disclaimer lang po. So sources for the information of for sources of the information that I actually use in the webinar today are cited at the end of the presentation. The videos that I would be playing, if ever, gagana sa today. So these videos are not mine. Of course, credits are given to the rightful owners, right? So in every CPD training, teacher seminar workshop that I actually facilitate, I always start with a quotation. And for today, our quote is there's always a way to do it. Okay po. So there's always a way to do it better. So this specific quote came from Thomas Edison. So what is the connection of this one to our topic? Remember, my dear teachers, that even in the field of education, even the best practices that the outstanding teachers before already need to change. Why? Because in the field of education, nothing is permanent and change is constant. So even the best practices that this most effective and efficient teachers that we had before will no longer make them the best teachers nowadays for our students. Why? Because we have to deal with change and we have to open our minds and realize that there's always a way to do it better. It's already year 2020. And as much as we want to press that button to restart the year again, of course, we cannot. Not only do we want to reset it because of the many dilemmas that we face today, but also we have to realize that maybe some of us may prefer to go back to the old times where teaching is not that complicated, where these innovations in the field of education are not yet existing. I can still remember back then, my teacher would only give us lectures. She gave us lectures and everything ends there. So all we need to do is to memorize these things and not really to fully apply everything. So, however, let me reiterate, we don't have the power to restart it again. Year 2020, remember my dear teachers talks about the use of social media. Right now, I think everyone will agree with me if I would be asking na lahat tayo may social media tools. If not all, I mean most if not all have Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, or maybe even Viber, Skype, and then the like. So this is because it's already 2020. Earlier, let me share to you a very short story. So earlier I was having my class, my online class with my high school students in UST. And we were discussing about journalism. So sabi nung isang estudyante, Sir, why is journalism important uh, in the society nowadays? I was telling that person, that student, it's important because journalism has already saved a lot of lives through the information, the data that we get, especially right now that we're facing the pandemic. And I realized that even that right now, the main way, of course, of this specific journalist to disseminate the information that they actually provide in their articles is through social media. So this is the very reason why teachers must also use uh, different forms of technology, including social media, to be able to help our learners grow and be a better version of themselves. Indeed, with these changes, nothing is permanent, even in the field of education. So now let's talk about the future. Okay. So this is a word cloud of instructional design. In this specific word cloud, you would be seeing modern, trends, vintage, digital, graphic, and then the like. So this is specific words, of course, most if not all deals with technology. Why? Because instructional design says that technology will be our partner in the future, whether we like it or not. Okay? So now let us try to define what is instructional design. Ano po ba ibig sabihin ng instructional design? So for us to be able to understand it, let's try to define it this way. So instructional design is generally defined as a systematized process for developing educational, instructional, and training programs. So it's a process of course, building specific pathways for our students to learn. It refers to the development, designing, and delivering of learning experiences to the students. So instructional design talks about how we would be able to address the needs of our students by providing them specific, authentic learning experiences. This is what we do every day we see our students. We provide them with authentic experiences that will aid them become better versions of themselves through the various activities that we actually employ them. So to make things simpler, let us try to give a simpler definition of instructional design. So instructional design is another name for lesson planning. And I'm pretty sure all our attendees know how to plan their lessons well. Okay? However, in the 21st century, we have to be reminded that the focus of our learning plans is already on the needs and the preferences of the learners. The ultimate aim is to produce efficient learning patterns for our students. So gone are the days that we prioritize what we want. Now, whenever we produce lesson plans, our focus is on what the students actually need and what the students actually want. So this is the biggest change in the field of education. Before, everything used to be teacher-centered. But right now, we already have, of course, student-centered. And uh, of course, with this come along would be the changes of our roles as educators. Before, we used to be the stars of the night, but right now we are facilitators. We are designers of the lessons. We let the students learn because we put the responsibility of this, of learning to the shoulder of the students. Because this is 21st century. You might be asking me, Sir, why do we have to do this? Why do we need to embrace these changes? This is primarily because right now we have a different set of learners. Okay? Specifically, in the field of education, everyone is experiencing a digital divide. When you say digital divide, we have the digital immigrants and the digital natives. So the digital immigrants are the ones born before 1980 who have adopted technology at a point later in life. Ako may mga kilala kong ito minsan mas matanda pa, senior citizen na, pero they have Facebook, they have social media accounts because sooner or later, of course, they learned the benefits, they discovered the advantages of this using this specific innovations. And of course, the digital natives born 1980 to present. Now, going back in the field of education, we are experiencing this digital divide. The teachers, especially the more tenured ones, they are digital immigrants, and the students or some of our young teachers, they are the digital natives. So why am I discussing this thing to you? Because this specific slide aims to inform us that our students are really knowledgeable in terms of using technology. So if we belong to the digital immigrants, then we have to double our efforts. We have to work harder to be able to master the use of technology, because our students nowadays, they have innate skills in using technology. Okay, so specifically these students are members of the generation Z. So not only are they digital natives, pero isa pa sila sa, kumbaga, mas may tawag sa kanila is what you call the iGen. So birth years is 1995 to present, although some researchers actually claim na 1996 to present. So they are known as the generation that comes after the millennial generation or the generation Y. So and expected to become the fastest growing generation in both the marketplace and the workplace. Okay. So when I talk about Generation Z, my dear students, my dear teachers, rather. So one thing that we have to remember, they are born for technology. And this is one of the hardest challenge for our educators today, especially to those who have been teaching for more than 20 years. Since they are born for technology, results are better if we aim to maximize its use for them to develop their skills. However, my dear teachers, let me reiterate this one. This is the same point that I actually highlighted earlier. We have to be reminded that some of them are more skilled and knowledgeable than us in using these innovations, which means that we have to be extra careful, especially right now that some of us are conducting classes without really undergoing extensive trainings for this specific matters, since the COVID-19 pandemic is truly unexpected. Di ba po, right now I've been seeing a lot of posts online from the students, from the teachers na kailangan talaga mag-online class because this has been the policies implemented by the schools. Of course, they have valid reasons why they have to continue classes. But at the same time, my dear teachers, I do understand the sentiments that most of us are not really prepared for this. But then again, we have to remember, my dear teachers, that we are professionals, and as teachers we have to do our and exert our best effort to be able to find solutions to these problems. Okay, so trivia for about Generation Z. Do you know that 80% of the Generation Z say finding themselves creatively is important, and if they find creativity important and significant, then the same thing with us. Okay? If they value creativity, then we also have to ensure that we value creativity as well. And we try our best to be creative and innovative whenever we deal with them. Over 25% post original video on a weekly basis, while 65% enjoy creating and sharing content on social media. Okay? Nothing is actually unexpected with the students when they produce outputs with technology. Creativity is always at its finest, 'di ba? Lalong-lalo na, for example, yung TikTok, 'di ba? Right now, I think this is an emerging trend. Majority, if not all of our students would have their own TikTok videos, especially right now that we're having, of course, the enhanced community quarantine in Luzon. So not only students, but even some teachers, we have, some of us have TikTok videos. So this is how technology the use of technology has spread. I mean, in the field of education. Actually, in fact, in a study done by Hootsuite, Filipinos are ranked first in terms of the amount of time used in using social media. Parang like 4 hours and few minutes yung average ng mga Filipinos doon. So now social media. So when talk about social media, of course, we deal with Instagram, we deal with Facebook, with Twitter, with YouTube, and then the like. So why am I presenting this thing to you? Because indeed, social media, of course, is a communication tool, but not only is it a communication tool, because it can also be used for learning. Let me share with you some of my findings and my thesis that I conducted for my master's degree in communication at the Ateneo de Manila University. My thesis was all about how social media was being used by specific formators and of course forming student athletes. So some of the data that I found there was number one, students use social media as their emotional outlet. So this is where they put their rants. This is where they put their inner thoughts. So through this social media post, we would be able to understand who are our students. Sino ba talaga yung mga estudyante natin? Paano ba natin makikilala kung ano ba talaga ang malalaman kung ano ba talaga ang pinagdadaanan ng mga estudyante natin at sino ba talaga yung mga estudyante natin. So through social media, we will be able to know that since they use social media as their emotional outlets. Second, we can also use social media as a monitoring tool. And of course, a way of controlling their behavior, surveillance, di ba? Kasi lalo na yung mga kabataan ngayon, they post almost everything in social media. So if we will be able to maximize the use of social media, we would also be able to address their needs, not only in terms of academics, but also in terms of trying to inculcate with them values, life values, morals, and the like. So all these things, of course, deal with 21st century technology. We talk about 21st technology, since 21st century education. Of course, the biggest question is, are we ready for what's next? And why is this shift actually necessary? Bakit nga po ba mahalaga po ito? Primarily, it is important because right now, my dear teachers, okay, there has been a global and local change in the field of education. Specifically, there are changes in number one, the system, the educational system. Two, how we assess our students. And three, the methodologies and strategies. Let's try to name a few. For assessment, before, ang pinakamataas sa atin, what we value the most would have to be the periodical exams, yung sa pen and paper. But right now, we more importance, we give more significance to the performance task. Why? Because the performance task is skill-based, and there more often than not, the pen and paper test would be knowledge based. So that is a change in, of course, education. Why do we have to agree with those things? Because even the K-12 curriculum, dati knowledge-based curriculum tayo. So we're after the students being able to memorize things. Ngayon, skill-based tayo. We're after the students being able to apply what they actually learned in class. So in other words po, if you are the type of student who is good in memorizing everything, kahit ba mag-cover to cover ka, mag-perfect mo periodical test mo, and the old curriculum, magta-top 1 ka na, honor student ka na. But right now, even if you memorize everything, if you do not know how to apply these things, then you would not be able to, of course, be at the top. So another change in education, of course, would have to be the methodologies and the strategies. Di ba dati, parang ako natatandaan ko nung nag-aral ako, although it was, nung nag-aral ako, nung bata pa ako, high school student, elementary student ako, my teachers would always give lectures. And for me, that was effective. For me, para sa ating mga estudyante before. But right now, our students are different. They have different learning needs. They have different learning preferences. That is why we cannot do a lot of lectures anymore. Because if we do a lot of lectures, the students would be bored. They would not listen to us. They would lose their attention, and eventually, they would not be able to perform. Again, these are changes. These are brought upon, of course, by the changes in the field of education. So according to Mark Prensky, in 2001, today's students think and process information differently from their predecessors. So indeed, ibang-iba na po talaga. Di ba parang tayo, nung mga estudyante tayo, we look for different things. Right now, our students have different needs as well. So, and because of these changes, we have to take a look at this image. This image are composed of 3 gears. We have 1 gear for creativity, another for innovation, and another for success. So aware naman po tayo, pag hindi gumana yung creativity, hindi gagana yung innovation, hindi gagana yung success. Because this is how we do it in the field of education right now. We need to be creative, we need to be innovative for our students to gain academic success. Because if we're not going to be creative, if we're not going to be innovative, then our students would not learn the best way possible. So again, why do teachers need to be creative and innovative? 'Di ba? Some of us would say, bakit ba? Eh dati naman nung nagtuturo naman ako pinakamagaling na teacher. O ayan, si ganito, na-produce ko yan. Ako ang teacher ng dati ngayon, napakayaman na, sobrang successful na. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the way we taught the students would still be, I mean, effective as it was before. Bakit po nag-iba? My dear teachers, it changed because everything already changed. Bago na yung culture, nagbago na yung pangangailangan and everything. So parang ilagay natin siya sa comparison ng dalawang character. Before in the olden times, I think one character that we can actually say na malakas would be Lapu-Lapu, 'di ba? Si Lapu-Lapu, very strong talaga siya. However, right now, pag sinabing hindi namamatay, Pilipino, Cardo Dalisay, 'di ba? Kaya lang si Lapu-Lapu ang gamit niya noon parang espada or uh, sibat or something like that. Si Cardo Dalisay, of course, pag nanood tayo ng probinsyano, baril na yung ginagamit nila. So if they would be battling against one another, even if Lapu-Lapu is stronger, Lapu-Lapu would not win against Cardo. Why? Because Cardo is using what should be done or what should be used in the 21st century. So in other words, ganun din po yung students natin. If we would equip them with the skills that we actually equip our students before, unfortunately, hindi sila makakasabay ngayon kasi nag-iba na po. Times have changed. Our schools need to change with them. So this is an example of the changes brought upon by the, of course, by the demands din po na sa field of education. Especially right now po na nag-iba talaga lahat dahil nga we are catering and we are also teaching a different set of learners. So this is the anatomy of a 20th century classroom. And the 20th century classroom, my dear teachers, is a teacher-led instruction. So when you say teacher-led instruction, one size fit all po. So for example, meron tayong tatlong estudyante. Si student A, for example, is a fast learner. Si student B is a slow learner. Si student C is an average learner. So nung nagturo si teacher, student A was able to follow. So what happened? Student B, being a slow learner, he wasn't able to follow. Student C, he was able to get some points but miss some points well. So ngayon, that teacher-led instruction siya, the teacher needs to continue with the next lesson. Because if the teacher would still focus on that specific topic, si student A naman maboboard. Pag na-board naman siya, hindi ma-address yung pangangailangan niya. So that is the anatomy of a 20th century classroom. Di ba? Parang, kumbaga, parang isang teacher lang, lahat tayo nakaupo lang. So little access to no support at home, and of course, learning within the confines of the four walls and the bell schedule. But nowadays, in the 21st century, my dear teachers, a lot of things change. Right now, we already have many teachers. One, we have discussion boards. We have tutorials, we have videos. Right now, we have webinars. And I hope that I am able to fulfill my duty as our research speaker today. I hope you're learning a lot from me today. I hope you will. So blended learning, of course, promotes greater student-teacher interaction. So the best thing here is that it is accessible anytime and anywhere. So whenever the students feel, gusto ko matuto, gusto ko mag-aral. So accessible siya. Hindi kailangan na nasa loob ng classroom. And if you notice, there are a lot of teachers here. In this picture, one teacher, syempre si teacher talaga. Second, yung mga laptops. Third, yung interactive whiteboard. Fourth, the students themselves who are actually discussing these lessons, having rich discussions with their classmates. They also serve as teachers. So, which allows us teachers, educators, to address all the needs of the students. Let's say, for example, slow learner, fast learner, average, lahat yan na-address through the use of blended learning classroom. So this is, of course, the 21st century classroom. So now, let me proceed with, let me go back to instructional design. So of course, and we talk about instructional design. Instructional design is being supported with a lot of theories. And one of the theories that we actually use is adult learning theory. And this adult learning theory, research indicates that prior to designing a course, an assessment of what learners already know is important. Napangalaga po na hindi natin ina-assume na alam na nila at hindi rin natin ina-assume na hindi nila alam. When designing for adults, instructional designers should realize and recognize what they know, respect this knowledge, and allow them to utilize it in the course. That is very important po. Indeed, teachers, repetition of lessons help. And this is highly reflected in the spiral curriculum, the K-12 curriculum. This theory supports the idea that educators must connect the lessons to long-term memory or yung mga bagay na alam na ng mga bata before, which will make neutral networks stronger. So mas natatandaan po ng bata yun. Later, we'll also talk about how emotional impact can improve memory retention, because this is one of the trends in the future trends that we can actually have for the instructional design. So another, of course, is to provide concrete examples and questions that will activate what they already know. So pag may repetition po kasi, syempre mas natatandaan po ng bata. So that is very important. Things that we have to remember when it comes to IB is, of course, the concept of adult learning theory. Remember, my dear teachers, using emotional elements can help learning stay in long-term memory. And this can be best done through storytelling. The challenge of the teachers right now, I think, is that students easily forget their lessons. So, mabilis po nilang makalimutan. Minsan tinuro mo ngayon, next week, di na nila natatandaan. However, we have to remember, murder teachers, that we're not after them memorizing a lot of things. Hindi natin priority na makabisado nila lahat. Ang priority natin is maintindihan nila, malaman nila kung paano nila gagawin. Yes, to skill base, no to knowledge base. Of course, knowledge is important in order for us to be able to develop the skills. But what we have to focus would have to be how we will be able to help our students develop the skills that they need. Because this is where memory retention lasts longer. Diba? For example po, right now, sa pandemic po, pag sinabi nating memorization, yung mga nabasa ko po, for example, 2 months ago, medyo nakalimutan ko na yung iba. Pero kahit isang buwan akong hindi mag-drive, pag nag-drive ako, alam ko pa din. Bakit? Because it's skill-based. So skill po kasi. So we're after developing the skills and not just the knowledge of the students. So we talk about storytelling. Ito, ako naman naniniwala naman ako, teachers, na most, if not all of us, are good storytellers. And I think everyone who is watching here right now has already experienced telling and sharing some of his stories to the students. Mag-ingat lang tayo, of course. We have to know the limits of our sharings. Minsan magugulat na lang tayo, ay, nakwento ko na pala to, di ba? Parang we find things sobrang nag-enjoy tayo, gulat tayo, 30 minutes na tayo nagkikwento, but that's normal, right? So, because it creates emotional impact. And don't worry, because through these stories, the students are able to understand our lessons better and deeper. Hindi po tayo nagsasayang ng oras pa nagkikwento tayo. Why? Because it creates emotional impact. Diba? Gaya nga ng sinabi ni Aristotle and his theory of persuasion, ethos, pathos, logos. Ethos, logos, of course, talks about providing them facts, giving them information, making yourself credible in the eyes of your audience. But of course, you have to remember pathos, which deals with emotions. Hindi pwedeng mawawala yung emotions doon sa way mo to persuade them. So same thing with teaching them. So there should be an emotional impact. So they would value the lessons better. So yun po. So before I proceed to the next slide, may nakita lang po ako nagtanong, sabi parang, may we have a copy of the presentation? Yes po, I'll provide po a copy. Later on po, I'll give it po to Vibal, and Vibal po will be the one to actually share the presentation with you if I'm not mistaken. Okay po. So yun po. So again, emotional elements po, wag po natin kakalimutan yan, because that's also one of the things that we have to remember in IB. Now, again, stories are easier to remember. Because stories are how we remember. When facts become so widely available and instantly accessible, each one becomes less valuable. And I think everyone would agree with me, di ba? Pag yung isang item, lahat na available kahit saan, parang inisa tayo, hindi yan ganun kahalaga. Pero when we know that this is an exclusive one, of course, we value its presence. So what begins to matter more is the ability to place these facts and context and to deliver them with emotional impact. So this was actually taken from Daniel Pink, who is the author of Thrive in a Whole New World. So mahalaga po to, teachers, na we find ways on how we would be able to create emotional impact for our students. We connect them to life experiences para at least mas naiintindihan po talaga nila. Now, let me talk about how we would be able to empower these storytelling skills. So these stories can be incorporated in online courses in the form of 1, comic strips, 2, interactive timelines, geometry, audio narratives, and even videos. So ito pong mga to, my dear teachers, these are some of the outputs that we can ask from our students and some of the things then that we can use to make learning more engaging in the eyes of our students. Remember, my dear teachers, uh, remember, my dear teachers po, marami pong strategies, di ba, na pwede tayong gamitin. But of course, we always have to choose the best. So when we talk about instructional design, we also have to know, of course, definitely, it's a must, learning design. So what is learning design? So when we talk about learning design po, it is the framework that supports your learners' learning experiences. It advocates shifting uh, from the focus of the teacher to thinking about learners first. I think this is the biggest change po, no, in the field of education. Before kasi, what we prioritize, what we want, how we want to teach our students. But right now po, teachers, we have to understand that our priority should not be how we want to do it, but should be how our students want to do it. It should not be what we need, but it should be what they need. So that's the biggest change from teacher centered to learner centered. So we have to cater as these specific things: who they are, what they know, how they think, how to reach them effectively, so they get the most of their educational experiences. Alam niyo po, teachers, ako naniniwala ako na all the teachers are skilled. One, graduate naman po tayo ng 4 na taon bago tayo nakapagturo. Some of us even have master's degrees, meron din, may mga doctoral pa, baka may post pa. So, naniniwala din ako that all of us are knowledgeable. Hindi naman tayo papasa ng board exam, hindi naman tayo makakapagturo. Our schools right now would not hire us if we're not knowledgeable about the content. But one thing that is missing from the other teachers, I think it's the right attitude. Because some teachers are still hesitant in dealing with these changes. However, teachers, dapat tandaan natin, we give what our students need. So they are our priority. So with that, we have to learn how to embrace change. Remember, my dear teachers, learning strategies are not equally effective. So we have to choose the best because we want nothing but the best for our students. So, piliin po natin kung ano yung nagpi-fit sa learning styles nila. Hindi lang po dun sa comfortable tayo. Remember, it always feels good naman po to explore from time to time to get out po dun sa nakasanayan natin and then the like. Okay? So, now, let me show you some of the future trends and instructional design. So, when talk about instructional design, again po, ito po yung diniscuss ko po sa first part ng ating presentation. So one, of course, is personalization of learning. So learning can be designed to cater to individual needs and requirements. Right now po, we have a diverse set of audience. Ang mga estudyante natin, iba-iba ang pangangailangan, iba-iba ang gusto nila. And as educators, trabaho din naman natin, of course, to cater these needs. That is why big data actually allows the educators to quantify how learners learn best. And using this information, hopefully will help the designers, us, the lesson planners, avoid a one-size-fits-all instructional design strategy or design for the average learner. Sana we would be able to value the importance of personalized learning so that we would not only be able to address the needs of some students or of most of the students, but we will be able to address the needs of all the students. Kaya lang, alam ko po, matrabaho ito. Kumbaga, it is really demanding because marami talagang gagawin to be able to address all the needs. Pero of course, as teachers, I know, itong pandemic nga po, hindi tayo napigilan na mag-webinar. So definitely, the teachers, I'm pretty sure, would do their best effort para po to find ways on how they would be able to address the needs of our students. Talk about 21st century, of course, tandaan po natin, teachers, again po, let me just reiterate, our students are diverse, they have different needs, and they have different ones. And as teachers, we have nothing, of course, to do but to address all of these things. Okay? This is why the instructional designers will no longer be forced to impose learning in a style learners may not prefer. So instructional design will lean towards creating multiple modalities for the same information, and learning strategies will be enhanced for individual preferences to be truly personalized. And I think everyone will be one with me if I say that we and ours too, together with our students, we learn best when we enjoy what we're doing. Di ba? Kapag bored tayo, ang hirap intindihin. Minsan matutulog muna tayo, yung data intindihan. Pero pag na-enjoy natin yung ginagawa natin, not only do we understand things better, but the memory retention din po, of course, lasts longer. So, although, of course, I know personalization of learning is not really easy. So, personalized learning, the freedom to choose your own path in learning is all the rage right now. Industry experts are discussing that learners need the power to select what the activities they complete, when, how they assess, and how much they will interact with their peers. The biggest concern here is kung iba-iba yung paraan, baka magkakaiba sila ng pagkakaintindi. But teachers, we have to remember that if we would be creative and innovative enough, then we can teach all of them the same content. But we have to be extra creative and innovative in providing them the activities that will help develop the skills that they need. So this is one of the future trends in the field of instructional design. So yan, so almost 4,000 4,000 na ang ating viewers right now. So later po, I'll read some of the comments and I'll try my best po to answer. But allow me po to proceed po to the other trends po in instructional design. Second, mobile learning. So the use of technology has spread like a wildfire, and the ubiquity of mobile phones has given a fillip to mobile learning. Indeed po, right now, I'm pretty sure sa 4,000 na viewers natin, siguro more than 2,000 or 3,000 ang ginagamit natin cellphone. 'Di ba? Because halos lahat naman tayo may smartphones na, and this specific trend leads us to one point. Why not use these mobile phones for learning? So yun yung dahilan kung bakit nag-emerge ang mobile learning. So technology, especially the use of technology, of course, has boosted right now, especially that we are facing a pandemic. So the focus will be on developing nano learning modules. We talk about nano learning modules. These are small and coherent chunks of information designed to be delivered to learners on mobile devices. The size is ideal for the learner who accesses them on his mobile in short intervals during work hours and when he needs it. Dapat talaga LAA tayo. Say LAA, learning anytime, anywhere. Of course, mobile learning supports that idea. And because it's flexible learning, we make learning available anytime, anywhere. And of course, we also try our best to fit the learning style, to develop, activities that fit the learning style of the students today, who easily get bored from listening to lectures. Again, problema po ito ng lahat. I think lahat naman tayo naranasan to. Ang attention span ng mga bata right now is really short. Kaya nauso po, for example, yung iba't ibang styles ng lesson planning. If you're familiar, for example, with brain-based curriculum, dun sa brain-based na yun, ang ginagawa po nila is teachers follow specific trends on how, based on how the brain actually functions. So when they develop activities, ang titingnan nila, ano bang sinasabi ng research na to about sa brain, sa pag-function ng brain. So if this research actually says, for example, the use of color can be used to enhance attention span, gagamitin po natin sa mga presentations natin. So isa yun, the use of color. Second, for example, dapat every 10 or 15 minutes, another set of activity para at least hindi mabore yung mga estudyante natin. So yung mga yun, kailangan po natin yun pahalagahan. Another concept po that we have to remember po when we talk about the future trends in ID is, of course, campaigns over courses. Courses tend to be over at a certain point. Learning courses, yung mga subjects na tinuturo natin, after 10 months, minsan nga, pag semestral, after 6 months or 4 months, 5 months, tapos na yun. However, a campaign addresses different moments of learning need during the event and after it's over. Teachers, let me ask you, bakit po ba tayo nagtuturo? Are we after our students getting good scores in the exams? I think na. Hindi lang yun ang goal natin. We don't just want our students to get good scores in the exams, but we want them to be able to apply the things that they are learning right now from us and the life awaiting them in the future. Ito po yung kahalagahan bakit campaigns are more important over courses. For example, if we bring people into a training session about evaluating some candidates, they traditionally leave with a bunch of handouts and links. But we don't track how those resources are used later on. and we don't add new tools to the toolkit after the course is over. So dapat po teachers, kahit tapos na yung subject natin, nagagamit pa din ng mga bata. Di ba mga bata, bisa na pag-math, so sir, ba't ba kami nag-aaral ng algebra? Dapat i-connect natin to real life experiences so that they would know anong kahalagahan nito. I think it was yesterday or the other day, I was browsing my Twitter account. May nakita akong tweet doon, sabi nung isang college, graduate professional na, sabi niya, nasa field daw siya ng science. So, I'm not sure if she's a frontliner or not. Ang sabi niya, ang kwento niya doon is, dati daw, naiinis daw siya. Bakit daw nagtuturo pa ng humanities? May mga general humanities subjects na kailangan pag-aralan. Eh, hindi naman daw siya humanities major. So, but right now daw, because of the pandemic, she was able to appreciate why these things are actually important. So, as teachers, mahalaga po na maintindihan ng mga bata, bakit natin tinuturo yung mga lessons na to? Because it is the only way that we can help them see the value of the things that we're actually teaching them. That's why campaigns always over courses. A campaign is a bunch of learning assets that can be rearranged to address different learning paths. The resources equal the content that can be arranged. However, we have to be remember when they're teachers, a course tends to be over, but a campaign supports perpetual learning. Learning must never end. Application must be done continuously. I think in a way, nagagawa naman na po natin to eh. Whenever we provide them authentic experiences, we're allowing them to see, of course, the value of this specific campaigns. So, yun po. So, those are some of the trends that we have to remember in the field of instructional design. Now, let me proceed to the biggest chunk. This is where the biggest chunk of my presentation actually goes. So, of course, it is the use of technology. So, but before we talk about bago tayo mag-develop ng sobra sa technology, tandaan muna natin teachers that Philippine education needs to move from designing courses to designing authentic experiences. And the best way to design authentic experiences, of course, is using their language. And what is their language? It's their language of technology. So put in mind with your teachers, instructional design implies the practical application of scientific insights. In other words, the future of instructional design is linked to the future of work and technology. So pag sinabi po natin technology, lahat tayo may kanya-kanya tayong ginagamit, 'di ba, na different forms of technology. So ayan. So some of us merong ginagamit na tablets, laptop, and then the like. So to name a few, tingnan po natin yung mga yan mamaya. But tandaan po natin, bakit po natin kailangan gumamit ng technology? Because to offer demand-driven learning to an audience composed of digital natives, instructional design aims to utilize the power of technology to provide learning that is accessible on all devices, anytime, anywhere. Again po, bumabalik po tayo sa concept ng LAA, learning anytime, anywhere. That should be always isa sa mga motto natin. Dapat the things that we provide our students can be accessible anytime, anywhere. So, when talk about technology, again, of course, ang mga tools na combo na ginagamit natin. One, computer. May mga classrooms na may mga sariling computer sa loob. Meron din naman na si teacher nagdadala ng laptop using PowerPoint presentations, showing videos, pictures, and the like to the students. Sa mga more financially capable schools, they have the use of tablets. For example, paano naman sir, kunyari wala naman kaming tablets? We can use the BYOD method. Kanina may nakita ko sabi parang paano daw sa mga provinces, hindi pa naman daw immerse ang mga schools sa mga paggamit ng tablet. We can have the BYOD. The BYOD is bring your own method. Bring your own device rather. So the BYOD, of course, strategy can also be used. Hindi naman natin kailangan araw-araw gumamit ng device ng technology. Siguro at times, from time to time, at least parang to fire the spirits of our students to make learning more fun and engaging for them. And then for the talagang capable ones, financially capable ones, may mga gumagamit na ng interactive whiteboard. So sa interactive whiteboard na yan, mas madali talaga mag-present ng lessons. Another way of trying to use technology, right now, ang emerging trend, of course, is the use of augmented reality. And augmented reality is an emerging trend in the field of education. So yan yung gamit mo yung device, cellphone or tablet, tapos mai-scan ka lang na libro, And then, yung may lalabas doon na parang 3D image, tapos magsasalita, kunyari parang, how frogs eat, tapos parang i-explain niya. So, one of the companies that actually offer augmented reality is actually Vival. So, although hindi lang Vival ang may AR, pero syempre, we're very lucky and fortunate that Vival has this specific service. So, we'll talk about Learn Live AR, ano yan, making textbook come alive. So, it is a mobile application for interactive learning and developed by Vival's in-house engineers. So indeed, Vival is really doing their best effort to ensure that learning would be more fun and engaging for the students. It uses augmented reality that enhances users' learning through experiential walkthroughs that integrate graphics, sounds, and sensory images. In the 21st century, students must be able to take the responsibility in their own shoulders to learn. And this product, itong AR ng Vibal, can help us in doing this. Since the books and the tablets or the devices, mobile devices themselves, can already explain the specific concepts. And this is also perfect for visual learners because of the graphics. Look at these pictures. Ayan. So, pag tinignan nyo, nagiging 3D, di ba? So, pictures are in 3D and live. So, they can repeat listening to the videos from time to time until they finally understand the concept. And they may also be able to explore these 3D images to have a deeper understanding of the lesson. I actually had an experience, fortunate ako, na naranasan ko na tong Vival AR when I delivered a talk, a CPD training in Tuguegarao. So, we had there the AR services. So, madali lang talaga siya. I-scan mo lang siya. Pag scan mo sa kanya, lalabas yung image, magiging 3D siya, parang ganito. Ayan. Tapos parang mas makikita mo talaga in 3D, dapat ganito pala yung itsura and then the like. So that time, ang na-try ko nun is body system. So nakikita ko talaga yung ano bang nasa loob ng katawan ng isang tao. Mahirap kasi pag drawing, di ba? Parang ganito yung itsura. Pero pag 3D image siya, it becomes more realistic. So perfect talaga sa for visual learners. So indeed, this would be very helpful for us. Ayan, layers of the sun. So kanina, dun sa first session namin, may nagtanong, sabi, ang AR ba kailangan ng internet? Paano naman daw kapag walang internet sa classroom? If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong here, but if I'm not mistaken, may mga AR, for example, sa Bibal, na ida-download mo siya ahead of time. So, kunyari, for example, sa bahay na download mo na siya. Pagdating mo sa school, you don't need the internet access to play the augmented reality. Kumbaga, itatarget mo na lang yung camera and gamit yung application and lalabas na augmented reality. So, you will be able to explore it even offline ka. So, that is why and itong mga 3D images na to, it would really allow our students to have a deeper understanding of the lesson. So, bakit? Bakit nga ba mahalaga itong mga AR na to? So, how does it help our students learn better? One, by simplifying information through augmentation. So complex ideas are simplified because AR technology has the capacity to render difficult concepts into 3D and to make them easier to understand. Di ba napakahirap pong intindihin ng body systems? Ang hirap nila, ito pala yung magkatabi pala sila. Yung magkatabi pala, malayo pa rin pala, malaki pala yung ganito compared sa ganyan and the like. But AR technology would be able to make things clear for our students because this tool allows the educators to easily give emphasis to the significant ideas and concepts making our job easier. Students will also find it enjoyable while exploring the lessons themselves. Kahit sila lang, maintindihan nila kasi they can actually murder the repeat button up until the time, a certain time na maintindihan na nila. Not only that, of course, this is expected. Learners' motivation actually increases through this AR, so augmented reality, because the integration of natural and digital worlds excites the learners and imbues with them more motivation to study. Learners today are digital natives. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, they are born with innate skills in using technology. This is their language. So we must expect them to find this way of presenting lessons more engaging, and if successfully implemented, they're expected to deliver better performances. Of course, marami pong paraan para matuto yung bata. Baga, pwede namang tayong mag-technology today, tomorrow, tapos sa isang araw, medyo bumalik tayo sa traditional. But then again, we have to understand, my dear teachers, that we have to maximize the use of technology because this is the language of our students. This is what they want. This is what they prefer. So ito kasi yung, dito sila pinanganak. They're born with, kumbaga technology. Ito na yung culture nila. So we have to adapt with it. So third po, so by presenting lessons with visually appealing graphics. So integrating augmented reality technology into textbooks allows the learners to interact and fully engage with the lessons because they do not only learn concept, but they also get to experience them as well. So just the same thing, augmented reality po, di ba, puts learning to a notch higher. Tinataas talaga niya because it does not only offer entertainment, but also experiential learning. So students learn best when they create their own engagement and experience because it is through this way that they improve their memory retention. Ayan po. So, kaya po napakahalaga po talaga ng napakalaking tulong po ng augmented reality. So you might be asking me, sir, why are you talking about AR? Kasi nga po, sabi ko nga po kanina, ID in the future will mainly deals, of course, with technology. So, you might be wondering, bakit technology? Ano ba talaga ang reason kung bakit natin kailangan ng tele? We talk about tele is technologically enhanced learning environment. Bakit po ba mahalaga ito? One is, of course, psychology. Scaffolding of Piaget and Vygotsky. Student-centered learning environments advocate that learning occurs through environmental interactions, including culture, technology, and instructional practices in which an individual constructs meaning internally. Student-centeredness of the activities that we actually give to our students must be our ito ang main weapons natin in training them to become the best versions of themselves. And we can do this, of course, with the use of these innovations. There are a lot of products of technology that we can use in developing the skills of our students, some of which are various learning platforms and educational applications. Like for example, yung Mentimeter. Yung Mentimeter, if you will be trying to explore it, para sa word cloud, on real time siya na word cloud. Zipgrade for assessment, Kahoot, Padlet, and then the like. So sa Vibal, meron din silang mga different coursewares. Like for example, the Vibal V-Smart courseware, Vibal V-Smart School, V-Smart Enroll. So itong mga to para siyang mga, parang this is where you upload the files online. Upload mo lang lahat ng files and then other educators with permission of Vibal, approval of Vibal, ma-access nila yon. So para tayong para tayo isang may drive na sama-sama tayong lahat. So sharing tayo ng resources. Definitely, we would be able, with the help of one another, we would be able to come up with better strategies on how we would be dealing with our students. So these are applications that we can actually use to assess our student needs and provide them with lectures, videos, or other learning materials. Lalo na po ngayon, di ba, na online classes ang karamihan sa schools. And nabasa ko rin kanina, parang before the seminar, if I'm not mistaken, parang DepEd is also planning na mag-open na lang ng school come August. And at the same time, baka daw online learning pa. So the more na kailangan talaga natin ma-immerse yung sarili natin with dealing sa isang technologically enhanced learning environment. Second, of course, is pedagogy. So when I talk about pedagogy, the learner must engage with their learning, not only in a manner that connects to their prior knowledge, but also utilizes technological resources in an applicable and constructivist approach. So medyo mag-recall lang po muna tayo kasi 'di ba, medyo matagal na tayo nag-gen ed. So magsinabi po natin yung constructivist approach in teaching. It is actually based on the belief that learning occurs as learners are actively involved in a meaningful process of meaning and knowledge construction as opposed to passively receiving information. So hindi lang po tayo sa magbibigay ng information sa kanila, may memorize and all. Dapat merong meaningful way of processing the knowledge and the things that they're actually learning. And this approach, it is very important for the students to be able to immerse themselves to a learning interaction. And this can be done using technological applications. Put in mind, my dear teachers, that allowing them to have these meaningful interactions will not only help you make them understand the lesson better, but also improve memory retention because they would be more engaged with their lessons. So mahalaga po yan, yung pedagogy na yan. So third po, of course, is the use of technology. So another foundation of the technologically enhanced learning environment is technology. So technology enables learning to adapt, modify, and extend their learning in dynamic, contextualized possibilities. In return, learners acquire deeper knowledge, skills, and attitude regarding the topic of discovery. Ako po, teachers, alam nyo, dati po, ako, naniniwala ako na parang, baka ano lang yan, pahirap lang yung technology and all. But when I really tried using it, and so of course, I saw how effective it is to my students, I realized that right now, nothing is already impossible with technology. Indeed, technology is very dynamic and it continues to evolve every single day. That's why integrating the use of technology in your lesson plans and instructional designs would boost the chances of the students to explore more about the concepts you're presenting to them. And eventually, we hope, of course, that they will be able to gain deeper understanding of the lessons. So, yun po talaga yung kahalagahan, bakit natin kailangan gamitin yan. Fourth foundation of TEL is, of course, culture. The culture of any given technological enhanced learning environment is representative of its culture of origin. Whether this is a school's culture, school district, community, or nation, all environments are embedded with cultural norms or mores. Ako po, sabi ko nga kanina, we have diverse students. Then, if we have diverse students, then I think it's safe to say that each school has their own culture. Baga, I'm pretty sure that educators, tayo mismo, we have our own set of beliefs that we follow. Diba? Based dun sa nakasanayan natin. Eventually, it became our culture. However, my dear teachers, you must take note that right now, the integration of technology in the field of education is an emerging trend. And hopefully, all of us will be able to apply its use and maximize the benefit that it offers to us as educators, because it would really be a big help for our students to learn and at the same time to enjoy what they're doing. So kahit po yung nasanayan natin culture before, medyo malayo sa kultura ng mga bata ngayon, kailangan immerse natin yung sarili natin sa culture ng mga estudyante ngayon, because it is through that specific way that we will be able to address their needs in a better way. And of course, it makes us more efficient and effective in their eyes. Lastly, of course, we have pragmatism. So educators recognize the importance of having a flexible curriculum, resources and assessment and evaluation tools at hand. Napakahalaga nitong flexible curriculum. Actually, ito pong series na to, ito pong dinedeliver ko sa Bibal na to. This is just the first among, I think, the 5 or more pa na webinars na ibibigay sa inyo that deals with flexible approach. So student-centered learning environments also value the ability to be malleable. Construction of knowledge, skills, and attitudes is a uniquely subjective and internalized process. So gaya po kanina nag-recap tayo sa constructivist, i-recap din natin. When we talk about pragmatism, it is an educational philosophy that says that education should be about life and about growth. Sabi sa pragmatism, the importance, mahalaga daw po ang dalawang bagay. That is practical learning and experiential learning. So pragmatism focuses on the importance of practical learning that refers to the use of real life applications, and of experiential learning that involves students to learn through experience and not only through simple ideas that can be gained through memorization. So ito, maganda to for self-paced learning, di ba po? So teachers, again po, pragmatism, practical learning, kailangan we connect them with real-life applications, and at the same time, experiential learning. So we must be able to find activities that would provide our students authentic experiences. Because trabaho po natin to. As educators, we must remember that our job, teachers, does not end with delivering the lessons. Also din po, teachers, pati sa assessment po. Remember, teachers, assessment is indeed vital. Our students can escape bad teaching, but never bad assessments. Di ba po? Pag ayaw nila ng way ng pagtuturo natin, minsan tutulugan lang tayo na magde-daydream sila and the like, matatakasan po nila yun. But yung bad assessment po, hindi po nila matatakasan yan, teachers. Remember, kahit ayaw po nila, kahit di sila nakinig sila, hindi sila nakinig, they would be taking the same exams. So, dapat po teachers, if we are careful in designing the activities that would give our students meaningful and authentic learning experiences, then we must also be reflective, di ba po, in the specific assessments that we provide our students. Dapat effective din po yun sa skills, sa knowledge, and even po din sa attitude ng mga bata. So if you will be able to do these things, then what do we expect? We expect, of course, that students would be able to utilize their background knowledge in synthesizing new information through the support of technology while acquiring new knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Teachers, this emerging trend, the integration of technology, is not our enemy. Although admittedly, it's not easy. In fact, mahirap nga po di ba? It would be hard for us to fully integrate these things in our lessons. Since mastering these things, learning these things, how to integrate these things, lahat po yan, it cannot happen overnight. Di natin may intindihan yan ng basta-basta. However, teachers, let us put in mind that we need all the help that we can have right now because the needs of our students today are indeed different from what we, the learners before, actually need. Di ba dati, ang mahalaga sa atin, ma-memorize, maintindihan ng ganito. Right now, hindi lang yun. Marami ng demand sa buhay, di ba? For example, right now, I cannot say that I'm an effective English teacher if I would be able to let my students master the grammar lessons, literary lessons, because my job as a teacher does not end there. Dapat I would be able to help them become critical thinkers, di ba yung forces natin, collaborative workers and the like. Mas mahirap po. Mas mahirap yung demand sa atin ngayon. And because mas mahirap po yan, teachers, we need all the help that we can have. So, and I think, of course, having TELES or technological enhanced learning environment would be a booster for us. So it would badly help us, of course, to address and equip our students with the skills that they will be needing to survive, and eventually, hopefully, maging successful individuals and maybe professionals in the future. So again, teachers, let us remember po that instructional design is the art. Balikan po natin, di ba? Kasi nag-usap po tayo about technology, about mobile learning, about po dun sa emotional impact and then the like. But tatandaan po natin, teachers, why are we developing this instructional designs? Why are we developing these lesson plans? Because it is the art and the science of creating instructional environments and materials that will bring the learner from the state of not being able to accomplish certain tasks to the state of being able to accomplish those tasks. Teachers, let us not forget po kung ano talaga yung gusto natin mangyari. Of course, why are we here today? We are here because our main role as educators is to prepare our students for the life awaiting them in the future. What's impossible before are already made possible today with the use of this innovation. So sana po, let's maximize these things kasi with the use of these innovations, kumbaga the ones that used to be impossible before are already made possible. So kaya po we have to fully maximize the use of technology. So sayang po kasi dapat the initial plan po was to end the presentation with a video, but unfortunately this setup po does not really allow us to play videos. So allow me na lang po to share po kung ano po yung video na ipe-play ko. Yung video po na ipe-play ko, it actually features a very small family, nanay, tatay, tas baby. So si mami pumunta ng grocery, so namimili. And then si baby umiiyak. Ngayon, nung umiiyak si baby, ang naiwan si daddy. Si daddy, syempre siguro first time daddy, hindi siya sanay na hawakan si baby, hindi siya sanay na buhatin si baby. So umiiyak. So di alam gagawin niya. Ang ginawa niya, nag-video call sila ni mami. Tapos pinakita niya yung screen ng cellphone kay baby. Thinking na pag nakita ni baby si mami, titigil sa pag-iyak si baby. But the baby did not stop crying. So in other words po, teachers, may limits ng technology. Bakit hindi umiyak si baby? Ba't hindi tumigil sa pag-iyak si baby? And nabigyan naman yung, napakita naman, andun na si mami, may technology and everything. But you know what made the baby stop crying? It was when his father tried to carry him sa shoulder po na. Tumigil yung pag-iyak ng baby. Why? Because teachers, I think, kailangan natin ito tandaan. Alam niyo po, sa dami ng CPD training seminars na nagbigay ko po, ang laging hindrance sa mga teachers, takot tayo na mapalitan ng technology. Takot tayo na isipin na parang, ay, ayokong gumamit yan kasi parang ano pang silbi ko sa classroom kung technology na pala magdodoro, ganito, ganyan. But we have to remember, my dear teachers, that these innovations, we will always find these things helpful in fulfilling our roles in the society. Let us not forget that these forms of technology and emerging trends are tools that can help us prepare our students in the future. But these things kahit pagano ka modernize to, kahit pagano ka kompleto to, these things will not be kumbaga, enough without teaching and giving what the students really need. And that is us, our guidance as their teachers and as us and as their second parents who would truly love and cherish them the best we can. So yun po yung kailangan natin teachers. Tandaan po natin teachers, uh, the technology would be there to assess us, but it would never be enough because what the students really need would always be our guidance for them to become the best versions of themselves. And that is po the last slide for the presentation. Ayan yung video po. So, ayan po. Ay, nag-play. Sorry po. Ayan po. So, thank you po and uh, for listening. So, right now po, by their teachers. So, ayan po. So, kanina po, sabi ko sa inyo teachers, maglalagay po ako ng, allot po ako ng time at the end of the webinar to read some of your questions, some of your comments po, hoping that we would be able to address this thing. So right now po, teachers, I'll choose some comments po. Medyo madami-dami na po tayong comments kasi nasa 4,000 plus na rin po tayong attendees. So technically 4,000 ngayon, almost 7,000 kanina. So more than 10,000 po yung audience natin today. Ayan po. So I'll read some of the comments po. If you have questions po, this is the time po for you to ask questions. I'll do my best po to answer po kung ano po yung question niyo po. Ayan po. So let's read some po. Ayan. So ito po from Mr. Perfecto Kahandig Jr. Ayun po, forgive me po if I mispronounce your names. Sabi po ni Sir, 100% tama Sir. May technology nga kung hindi natin gagamitin ng tama, wala ring mangyayaring learning. Yes, that is why we need to explore. Kumbaga, alam ko po as educators, siyempre, andun tayo sa comfort zone natin. But it is always good for us to experiment, learn new things, di ba po? Sooner or later, we would be able to master these things. And eventually, baga ito yung magiging best friend natin sa pagtulong sa mga estudyante natin to reach their dreams, to develop the skills that they will be needing for the life awaiting them in the future. Ayun po. Second po, we have here from Miss Helen or Helen Marie Carneser. Technology will be there, but they will not be enough. We teachers are important for molding our students. Indeed, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Although it was already proven that technology can also do character formation, sabi ko nga po, technology will never be enough. Kaya wag tayong matakot na mapapalitan tayo ng technology because what the students need, hindi lang po yung technology, it is our guidance. And of course, itong technology na to, hindi rin naman siya magiging effective if we wouldn't be able to design the best modules, to design the best programs for our students. Okay po. Ayan po. Next po. Another po is ayan po, so may mga school principals din po palang nanonood. Ayan po, hopefully po, marami po kayo natututunan today. Ito po, thanks from Miss Mila Malyare. Thanks for reminding us about creating an emotional impact to make learning more effective because learning is stored in their long-term memory. Thank you and more power. Thank you din po. Yes po, actually, for example, yung video ko napanood natin yon, magkikreate siya ng impact sa atin na, ay, ganun pala, no? Parang technology cannot still live without us. Kumbaga parang technology would fulfill its roles, but definitely, marami tayong bagay na tayo lang din mismo po yung makakagawa. So, dapat po talaga lagi may emotional impact kasi kumbaga, sabi nga nila, the mind forgets but the heart does not, di ba po? So, mahalaga po yun, my dear teachers. Right? So, from Miss Annalisa Torres Fernandez, it is high time that we produce, nawala po. Sige po, hanap na lang po ako ng iba. Ito po. From Mr. Andre Batalla, ito po, this is a very good question. Are Philippine schools really ready for this kind of teaching and learning use? Ako po, in my own opinion po, sa akin lang po teachers, right now po, sabi ko nga kanina, most of the teachers haven't really gone an extensive training in terms of conducting online classes and then the like. Pero as teachers po, our main role, of course, is to educate our students. So ako po, naniniwala ako na if we would be exerting a lot of effort to be creative, to be innovative for our students, then we can make the impossible possible. Kaya nga po tayo tinawag na modern heroes. Pero going back to the question po, I know it's not going to be easy. Mahirap po lalo na hindi pa talaga tayo sanay dito. Pero it is also our way to be protected from different pandemic. Kagaya ngayon po, di ba, parang we learn things online sa social media po, dami natin natututunan. So, hopefully, through trainings po, sana ma-achieve po natin yun na umabot din tayo kagaya ng ibang bansa na talaga they are really ready for this kind of learning. Since today's topic po really talk about the future of instructional design. Ayun po. Next po. Next po. Paano, from Mr. Jensen Luna, paano po ba mas ma-integrate ang learning ng students through online kung sa actual or classroom learning is set up yung estudyante, mas lalo na po sa online learning. You know what, teachers, the biggest hindrance in implementing a successful 21st century learning plan is not being able to fully trust our students' capabilities. Because in 21st century learning, if the students would know that they have to take the stand, they have to fulfill their roles po. Kasi if they're not going to do the responsibility, they're not going to learn, hindi po sila matututo. Marami po teachers, ako, including me, I was once one of the teachers na mag-isip na, hey, nagtuturo nga ako, hirap na hirap sila, paano pa pag sila lang? But we cannot and we should not underestimate the skills of our students. Because this is already proven din po. Backup na rin po to ng research. So, 21st century education would not happen if we do not know how to trust our students' capabilities. So, we need to provide them these opportunities and empower them para po magawa talaga nila. Of course, our students would be full of surprises. We wouldn't know na talaga, ay, ang galing pala talaga, nagagawa pala talaga nila yun. So, yun po. Next po. Here. Wait lang po. Ang dami pong message. Pasensya na po kung hindi ko po nababasa yung iba. Here po. Our AR app po ba available po sa Play Store? Yes po, I think available po siya. Although po, for more information po sa AR, I think it would be best po if you would be contacting your sales executives po. Bawat school naman po, meron pong sales executive ng Vibal. Para at least yung Vibal po, sila po mismo makapagbigay sa inyo ng seminar po about it. Nagbibigay po sila ng ganun mga seminar presentations, demo po mismo kung paano siya ginagawa. So para at least makita nyo rin po siya kung applicable ba talaga siya at kung talagang paano rin po talaga siya nakakatulong. So yun po, for more information po, you may contact these people na lang po. Next po. Thanks for sharing ideas. You're young but so full of wisdom. Thank you po. Thank you salamat po for the compliment po. Ayun. So, ito po, from Mr. Tom Israel Filart. I actually agree that motivation boosts the long-term learning of our students. Are there more of that method or approach that you can suggest other than AR? Yes po, there are a lot of learning strategies that we can actually employ to increase students' engagement. Of course, if you're familiar with flipped classroom, yung flipped classroom po, di ba, literally flipping the roles of the classroom, I mean, the role of the assignment and the discussion. So, sa assignment na ginagawa sa bahay, gagawin na siya sa classroom. Si discussion na ginagawa sa classroom, gagawin na sa bahay through a form of recorded videos, lectures, and the like. So, of course, may pros and cons po yun. Yung isa sa mga cons po nun, of course, advantage po nun is the students can replay hanggang maintindihan po nila. And isa rin naman po syempre dun sa disadvantage, and of course, sabi ko nga po kanina, the biggest advantage, I think, not all students have access po to this form of technology. Another one, of course, is blended learning. Yung blended learning po is literally blending po the specific topics. Blended learning po is literally blending the online learning po and of course yung traditional way of learning. Ayan po, another question po from here we have po from Miss Madel Hatamosa. Thank you, sir, for this very helpful ways to teach our students. Sir, how about our students who are more engaged in technology but they cannot express it when it comes to output or application already? How do we help them or assess them? Ito po yung sabi ko kanina, we use their language. Pag sa technology po kasi sanay sila dyan, kumbaga naglalagay pa po sila dyan ng wait lang po. Naglalagay pa po sila dyan ng ayun po, wait po. Ayan. So, ayun po, naglalagay po sila ng emotions po nila, thoughts nila, doon po nila nilalagay lahat yun. So, kung gagamitin po natin yung language na yun, mabuboost po yun. So, mas magagamit po natin yun. Although, ako po, I suggest din po, gaya po ng nabasa ko rin comment kanina, I agree po, wag naman po palagi. Kumbaga, i-limit din naman natin. Kasi kailangan din po talaga matuto ng ibang bata ng different skills din po, of course, na hindi lang naman focus din sa technology po. Ayun po. So, ano pa po? Oh. Ano pa pong questions? Ito po, hanap pa po tayo. Ito po, from Miss Shermean. Most of the time kasi nami-misuse ang technology. Thank you for this, sir. I agree. And hopefully ma-apply talaga dito sa atin. God bless. Yes po, yun po actually ang mahirap. 'Di ba? Lalo na sa, for example, kung nag-upload ka ng video. Pag yung in-upload mong video, teachers, hindi ka po naging sobrang careful. The content of the video might be different from the content that you have to deliver. Lalo na spiral curriculum tayo, mamaya masyadong complicated for the grade level. That's why sometimes, especially right now po, I know a lot of teachers recording lectures na talagang nire-record po nila yung lectures nila so that the students would be able to, of course, gain the understanding po of the lessons that they have to get. Ito po. Here. I agree that students must understand the importance of a subject so they can apply them in real life. With this, us educators too must understand how necessary it is to integrate technology in our teaching techniques. Yes po, of course, I hope it would be, kumbaga sabi ko nga, I hope it would be one of our armors or weapons, di ba? That we can actually equip to our students so that we would be able to achieve our ultimate goal. Isa lang naman po yung goal natin, of course, is to help our students prepare themselves for the future. Okay po, for the life awaiting them in the future. Next po, from Miss Lovella Stratton. It would be great to conduct diagnostic tests on the learning styles of the students. Teachers can have better ideas on which activities will be more effective for each of their class. Yes po. Actually, this can be also be partnered with the guidance office. The guidance office po, sometimes they conduct yung mga specific standardized exams po para at least mas makita natin ano po ba talaga yung pinaka-fitting doon sa learning styles ng ating students. The most common po, of course, would be the multiple intelligences. Diba? Some students would prefer, for example, singing, some students would prefer dancing, some students would prefer drawing, and then the like. So this is also a way for us to be able to address the needs and the preferences of our students. So another one po from Mr. Afel Dan Opena. I agree with this online learning. We educators must take a look on the support from the parents. They serve as a very important role in our learners. Sometimes parents tend to overreact and do the task of their children. So how can we ensure that the learners are really the ones doing the assignments and tasks? Ayan, this is very timely kasi ito rin po yung iniisip ko ngayon. Sabi ko, baka mamaya yung mga estudyante hindi na sila yung gumagawa. Pero ako po, technology po, sa gaya na sinabi ko sa inyo, it is indeed evolving. There are specific applications po na makikita nyo rin mismo kung sino yung gumagawa ng assignments. Pwedeng for example, while they answer it, may video and then the like. So, kailangan lang po natin discover yung different features po talaga. Pero the easiest way po dito, teachers, it's to conduct parent conferences, parent-teacher conferences, or for example po, may giving of cards, mag-seminar po tayo about 21st century education. We tell our parents that there are a lot of changes in the field of education, because if they would not know that these are the things that would make their kids baga a notch higher than the others, hindi po nila maintindihan ba't natin to ginagawa. But if the students po, if the parents po rather would know the very reason why we're doing this, then I think the parents would be very glad to assist us. Hindi po sila yung magiging problema natin. Instead, they would be the ones to help us in implementing these things. Kailangan lang po natin, we have to make them understand what we are actually doing. Kasi minsan prone din po sa complaints ang technology. Like for example, nag-upload ka lang ng video, sabihin minsan ni teacher, oh, we're paying 30,000, 40,000 for that question of our kids. Then you're going to just let these videos teach our students. So prone po sa complaints yun. But if the parents would know why we are doing this, and it's because of the changes in the field of education, then the parents would understand, okay, this is how it's being done. So they would be supporting us. Ayun po. Sige po, siguro po mga last 3 questions po or last 3 comments po. Let's see pa po. Ayan. Ito po. Ito po from Mr. Lawrence Galarosa. Ayan, medyo mahirap ng tanong. Hi sir, in the face of the current pandemic, do you think it's time to evaluate the current curriculum, especially the instructional designs, since they are vulnerable to disruptions? Uh, this is my personal view po. Kumbaga, this does not involve Bibal or the institutions po na part na ko. Pero ako po, for me, my dear teachers, I think mahalaga po talaga that we prepare for flexible learning. Dapat po kasi, di ba, learning does not stop. Right now, the students must not stop learning. I mean, of course, right now po, our priority is the health and safety, security of each one of us. But at the same time, hopefully this kind of pandemic would not hinder us from learning. Sana tuloy-tuloy pa din na natututo tayo. So in terms of re-evaluation, I think kumbaga DepEd knows better kasi sila talaga yung nagpaplano niyan. But in terms of instruction, I think it is best for the schools to actually offer specific trainings to their teachers that would allow the teachers to learn and master using technology and providing other means of teaching, of educating the students. Ayun po. Last two po. Last two. Here. How about from Miss Mary Jane Ganya? So how about dealing on the reception of parents about this online learning, especially when it comes to internet access and it needs a cost? So ito po talaga yung mga repercussions. Kumbaga, syempre it's a new trend. So if it's a new trend, of course, marami po talaga tayong problems na haharapin dyan. But then again, sabi ko nga po sa inyo teachers, if the parents would know the very reason why these things are actually important, then they would be the first persons to support this specific programs. But if they would not understand these things, then they would be they would not understand us. Magiging misleading po. It would lead to misunderstanding. So what I suggest po, we need to involve these things po. Of course, kailangan po matutunan talaga to. Maintindihan po ng parents why we're doing this. So isama po natin siya as agenda sa mga parent-teacher conferences natin, sa mga seminars that we offer to our parents as well. Ayun po, last one po. Ayan, last one po. Ayan, kuha po tayo. Here po. Ayan po, from Miss Jinky Sagun. Distance learning is very timely nowadays and we can make this time to use different strategies like technological methods. We can certainly be productive. Thank you po. Yes po. Diba, for example po, sabi nga nila experiential learning. Ako po, right now, I have to admit, I realize that this kind of way to learn is actually important. Imagine if without this technology, paano natin ma-address yung mga pangalan ng bata ng mga estudyante natin. Kanina po may nagtanong dun sa first session ko po. Sabi parang ang tanong po niya is paano daw walang internet? Sabi ko, pwede naman na ahead of time parang ibigay na this is what we're going to do. Yung through the use of books, through the use of offline resources. May mga offline resources din naman po kasi na ready-made available na magagamit pa rin po ng bata. So that's how powerful technology is. So talagang mapapakinabangan po talaga natin siya. Ayun po. Last na po talaga to kasi meron pa po isang nag-message po. From Miss Madel Hatamosa. I appreciate the use of technology, especially the kind of learners we have today. You mentioned about one of the best ways to teach is through storytelling. Thank you for this tip, especially in math, so the students can remember the lessons easily. Yes po, may kanya-kanya tayong forte. We have our own idea din po. So let's also maximize our strengths that we have. Yung iba nga po, minsan nilalagyan pa nila ng music, kanta, and then the like. So learning is flexible. So ang mahalaga naman po is we're able to address the needs and the wants, the preferences of our learners today. Ayun po. So madami pa pong comments. I'm sure madami pa pong tanong. Siguro po, hopeful we would be trying our best to address these questions po in the future webinars, training seminars, CPD trainings po that Vival Group would be conducting. But allow me po, my dear teachers, it's almost 5 o'clock na rin po. Allow me po, my dear teachers, to end this specific webinar by reminding us that we should not be afraid of these innovations. Instead, we must take a look at these innovations as ways for us to improve ourselves on how we will be able to equip our students with the skills, the knowledge that they need to be successful in the future. I hope marami po tayong natutunan today. Thank you po and God bless po, my dear teachers. Salamat po.